before I reward myself and open my new toys, this little one needs to go outside and have some attention. Huh, Karma? Huh, Karmas? You want to go on a walk? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you do. You want to go on a walk? Yeah, okay, let's do it. Alright, we're back. What's going on, you guys? My name is Caden. You can call me KL. And today is Thursday the 16th. And 2 days ago, I was 2.5 years on T. Or I guess I am 2.5 years on T. That was. But I forgot the day, and I'm a little late on this video anyways, so I thought I would go ahead and talk about it now. So, not much has changed, I guess, in this last year or so. Well, a lot actually has. In my social life, my relationships have changed. But on a different level, the effects of testosterone has definitely slowed down. But in the last, 6 months to a year, I have noticed a lot more hair. A lot of hair. I get hair on my shoulders. I'm getting it on my chest. My facial hair is starting to fill in a lot more. My hands. I don't know if you can see this, but my hands are hairier than they've ever been. My legs. My belly. I have to shave that every now and then, or else it gets pinched in my belt sometimes. I got hair on my back more. It's all over. It's everywhere that you don't want hair. But that's alright. I guess it's helping me stay warmer this winter. My voice, I notice, is still changing. Every so often it drops a little bit or it cracks a little bit. I feel it gets sore and then it drops. But I think that's going to happen for a while. It's not as rapid or noticeable as it was when I first started hormones. But it's definitely still changing. I feel some deeper tones here and there. And earlier in the day, your voice is always a little bit deeper than later in the day. But as time has gone on for me, I've noticed that my voice stays deeper later into the day. Whereas earlier, in my transition, later in the day, it would start to sound a lot more feminine, and I would hear it in my head as like a higher pitch. And I could feel it too. You can feel the difference when it's a lower pitch. But that's a great change that I've liked, especially on the phone, because early on in my transition, even though like when people saw me face to face, they saw me as a male. When I would talk to people on the phone, I always got misgendered, and like that is so like disheartening sometimes when you're on the phone, because it's always like harder to explain something over the phone to somebody. Like you can't see their reactions or their emotions, and it's just like not portrayed as good as face-to-face interactions. So anyways, other changes that I've experienced these last 6 months are like my physique is changing, and it's changing quite rapidly. You know, I do have a very active job at the moment, which is soon going to change. I'm going to be doing a lot more standing around, whereas now, working in a grocery store, you're constantly like running around and picking up heavy things and whatever, you know. It's a lot more active than the job I will be starting on Tuesday. And so I definitely need to get on a better gym schedule. Currently, I haven't been going to the gym. I needed a break mentally, and I haven't been to the gym since the day before Thanksgiving. I miss it though, but at the same time I don't. I'm into other things, and focused on accomplishing other goals. I still do like home workouts here and there, not like very hardcore or whatever, but I still do a little bit of like body movements, like push-ups and pull-ups and stuff like that. Just no gym. I need to kind of plan that out better. I don't know. It's hard when you're always going to the gym alone. I wish I had a gym partner. So if anybody's in Chico and wants a gym partner, message me. And I think the fact that my body's also been changing a lot is that I'm eating healthy. I eat like a cheat meal here and there. I'm not very strict about cheat meals, you know. If I want it, I'll eat it. I burn a lot of calories at work, so it's hard for me to eat enough anyways to be in a calorie surplus. So I'm hoping with this change of job, I'll be able to start like actually bulking more and put on some more muscle mass. Whereas now it's just like hard for me to eat enough calories. I don't have enough time in the day to eat as much as I need to eat. I think that like my average calorie burn per day is like 3,500 calories. And so that's a lot of food when you're trying to eat healthy. So, and I drink a lot more water. And that's just helped, I think, with like my skin and my overall health, is definitely drinking enough water. And so I've always done intramuscular injections. I am currently taking 0.4 every week, 0.4 milliliters, 0.4 cc, whatever. And that's been good for me for a while. I think when I started I was on 0.2, and then I moved up to 0.3, and then kind of sat at 0.4. I've had a couple different doctors prescribe my hormones for me, and the one I have now, she's pretty cool. She prescribes me as much as I can get, like 8 vials or something. I think you can only get 6 at a time at the pharmacy that I go to, though. And with my insurance, the insurance only covers up to 6 at a time. And so that's nice because I don't have to go back to the pharmacy every 2 weeks or whatever. That was a pain. I did that for a while. I was at the pharmacy every other week for like a year and a half. And that was such a pain in my butt and probably a pain in the pharmacy's butt. They got to know me real well. And that was kind of daunting because I was transitioning and they saw me every week. So like none of them said anything, so that was awesome. But I just wonder what they thought. It would be interesting to know what some of them thought about it. But everybody was really cool. I do live in Northern California in a very conservative county, but the city itself is pretty liberal. So that's alright. One day I'll get out of this conservative county. But I administer intramuscular. I do it in my legs. I kind of want to switch that up. I don't know. Sometimes my muscle like pulsates, and that's a little uncomfortable, or you hit a nerve. So I want to like figure out different spots I can give myself the shot because it's just like a pain to only rotate between 2 sites, or 2 general areas. And another thing that has changed a lot recently because of the job that I've been working this last year, I'm around a lot more of the public. I've noticed how differently I am treated now that I look the way I do and I sound the way I do. I notice a big difference from when I was presenting as female. Men treat me differently and women treat me differently. They address me differently. Like, some of the names I've been called, or not names, but just like titles that guys use for other guys are just like ridiculous. Like, I almost laugh because I get called these things and I'm like, are you talking to me? And I look around and it's all awkward for a second, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that is me. I've been called like bro, big dog. Big dog is one that I don't really like. I don't really like bro either. I'm not necessarily a bro. Unless like a girl is calling me that. I don't know why, but it bothers me less when a female calls me bro than when a guy calls me bro. It's a different, I feel like it comes from a different context, you know? Let's see, one time I was at a mechanic and my car was there for like a week and a half and he hadn't even looked at it. And so I was going to talk to him one day and I was like kind of annoyed that he hadn't even looked at it, and he was all, listen here, son. And I was just kind of speechless. I didn't know what to think. Like, I'm not your son. Nobody's ever referred to me like that. Like, my dad has called me son, and that's a little odd too, because he overuses it. Like, he never used to say daughter, like, but son's something that people use more than daughter. Hey, daughter. I don't know, maybe they do. Let me know if that happened for you. It's just weird. Like, I've been called so many more titles than I ever was as a female. Like, I've been called dude, but I was called dude before as a girl, and I think that that's a little bit more universal than some of the other titles. I hear females say dude to other females, and males to say dude to whatever. Genders. But it's kind of weird to me how different society treats females and males. Like, when I'm out in public now, like, guys don't look at me the way they used to, and that's great. But at the same time, I'm almost expecting that, and so I'm kind of like wondering, why are you looking at me like that? but that's only because I was presenting as female and identifying as female for like 28 years. I think that the way I look at the world is still through the same eyes, and so I forget that I look masculine and whatever, and so I don't know, I forget that people are going to treat me different sometimes. But then I get to know people, and you expect that kind of treatment from them as you get to know them. But working with people in the public, like, they say some funny things. It's different. So yeah, I don't know. There hasn't really been a lot of changes. I like all the changes that have happened thus far, and I'm looking forward to changing even more. Like, I'm only at 2.5 years. I see guys that are at like 5 years, and I hope by then I'll have more of a beard. I definitely will, but I'm excited to see what that looks like, and I'm excited to see where I can go with like my muscle mass and my physique. I've never really been interested in going to the gym, especially as a female, but these last like couple years I've really made it a new hobby of mine because I needed an outlet for all the emotions that come with transitioning and the change of handling emotions. Like, I notice that my emotions are different. Like, I express them differently. Like, it's more in my body than like in my head, I guess. As a female and with estrogen, you're more susceptible to crying, or at least I was, and I couldn't control that. And like, I still cry sometimes. There are few things that make me want to cry more. Like, I want to cry, but I just can't cry, I guess. Animals always get me, though, and like kids always get me, and sometimes like sad news stories get me. But I try not to watch like too much news because I'll get wrapped up in it. But you know, I notice though that like when I'm excited or I get like an adrenaline rush, I have to go do something to like get that energy out, or else I'm like, I feel anxiety coming, because it's like takes over my body. Like the other day when I got called and offered a job, I got so pumped up and excited that I was like shaking, and I had to go for a WALK. The dog is sleeping, but I had to because I needed to get out of the house and just like release some energy real quick, and breathe some fresh air, because sitting in the house was not gonna cut it. And so that's weird. That's been a different change too. Like, I'm very in tune with my body and how things affect me. I'm a great thinker. I think all day about psychological things because I am a psych major, and I think about how things affect me and why I feel these things, and I'm able to come to pretty good conclusions on my own. Like, every time I've had a therapist, it almost seems like a waste of time because I get there and I just talk and talk and talk about everything that I want to talk about, and then I reach the conclusions on my own, and then I examine it, and then I say something, and I say, oh, well, this is probably this, and this is probably that, and then the therapist is usually like, yeah, yep, and they don't really know what to say to me, and so it's like a waste of my time and their time and money, and I don't know, maybe it's not a waste. Therapy is good for some reasons, and for some people it's more important than for others, I think. For me, I haven't really found therapy that useful. Just because of the nature of my brain and my thought process. And the education I've gotten. And like, therapists go to therapy. There are therapists that go to therapy. And that's okay too. Like, I don't know, it's just not for me. I'd rather like talk to myself or think to myself or write it down or make a video, as I'm discovering is exactly like therapy used to be. I'm talking to something that is not really talking back to me, and I get to express whatever I feel like saying. So, you know, this is a therapy in a way. And, you know, I think that I value going to therapy when I need it, and when I'm going through like major things, that is definitely something that I consider. So yeah, I don't know. I find though that with the way that my emotions have come out of me as I've transitioned and been on testosterone, I need more of like a physical outlet than anything. So going to the gym or going for a stroll or hiking or doing something like physically with my body to let that energy out has been way better for my psyche than sitting down and discussing it. So yeah, kind of rambling now, but if you made it to the end of the video, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I've got some great ideas for videos coming out in the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to be posting every Wednesday. Sorry, today is Thursday. Bye! Light, lower, new light, microphone, test, testing.